the Wow Factor Science Show.
Yeah.
You want to go watch the show?
Okay.
Okay. How long is the show? Yeah, sit on the end there. It's great. Ooh.
Whoa.
What's that place with the ice cream?
Twisted Treat.
No,
Oh?
in Kissimmee. They make ice cream with that.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra.
Yeah.
Abracadabra ice cream.
So,
And now that I have everybody's attention, my name is Zach, and I'd like to welcome you all to the Wow Factor Science Show. Now, during today's show, we're going to do some really cool science experiments and demonstrations. But the best part about my show is, at the end of it, you're not going to be tested on it, okay? So we're just going to have a lot of fun today. Now, what you just saw there, that was actually liquid nitrogen and hot water. Moms and dads, it's the same reason why you would never put water on a grease fire.
Yeah, they use
because
nitrogen.
it will explode like you just saw
Want a
there.
bite? No, check.
Now, we are going to do some demonstrations with that a little bit later on. But the first thing we're going to talk about air. Air is that stuff that's all around us. It's odorless, it's colorless, it's made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% other gases. Now what's moving air called?
Wind.
Okay, wait a second, folks.
Yeah.
This is a live show. I can see you folks, okay? And boys and girls, you're not in school today, so it's okay to just shout out the answers. So what is moving air called? Wind. Very good, very good. And we're going to do some demonstrations using some wind power in this very specialized wind generator.
wow.
Okay, folks, I know what you're thinking. It looks like a leaf blower, and you would be right, but we could do some cool stuff with it. Watch this. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to try to balance a beach ball on a column of moving air. See if we don't get too much natural wind. on it.
Oh, mine?
Now if we get it over the top of it just right, you can see that it actually lifts itself up. And Amaya, this is what happens when we let go of the toilet paper.
No.
Okay, that's enough. Yeah, this was a very expensive demonstration to do a couple years ago, folks. I'm glad you liked it, all right? All right. Now, let's hear it for Amaya for helping out. Now, before you go, Amaya, I happen to have a very special souvenir for you for helping. No, I'm just kidding. When you see me after the show, I do have something special for you, okay? One more time for Amaya, folks. Good job, girl. Yeah, girls can do science too, remember that. All right, let me get this kind of put away here. Now, how many of you have ever seen or played with one of these? Has anybody ever seen or played with one of these? A couple of you, okay? Now, what this is called an air Zooka. They are commercially available. You can buy them at Walmart and toy stores and whatnot. And when you buy one of these, they actually say that you should set up targets so then that way you can knock over the targets with a blast of air. Now, when you pull this back and let go, air comes out of the other end. Now, what these normally become, though, is something that you aggravate your brothers and sisters with, because you go around all day shooting them with air, all right? And I actually had a guy come up after one of my shows, and he told me he keeps one of these in his office. Yeah, so when he has a little extra natural gas, he passes it over to his coworkers. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Now, wouldn't it be kind of cool? Wouldn't it be neat if you could actually see the air that's coming out of here? Wouldn't that be kind of neat? Remember, this is live, folks. I can see you. Okay, that's exactly the reason why I built a giant air Zooka. Okay, folks, I know what you're thinking. Cool. It looks like a garbage can with a hole cut in the bottom of it, and you would be right. But we're going to fill it up with some fog so you can see exactly what's happening to that air as it's coming out. Fill it all the way. That air as it comes out. Can you see that? It's actually making little smoke rings. All right, now boys and girls, if you would like to feel what it feels like to be hit by a smoke ring, I need you to stand up. I need you to come down to the chain. Don't hang on the chain, just stand next to the chain. All right, that's perfect, Mom. Yeah, you can see their hair moving. Coming down the line.
They're going in a curve.
Yeah, we got your hair. Try to knock your hat off, buddy. Let's hear it for all my jumpers. Good job, kids. Good job. All right. Now, if you were here at the beginning of the show, you actually saw a liquid nitrogen explosion. We're going to talk a little bit about liquid nitrogen right now. If you remember, nitrogen is 78% of the gas that's all around us. No. Now, liquid nitrogen actually has to be kept in a very special container. This container is called a dewar. The reason, for two reasons actually, liquid nitrogen is 321 degrees below zero. So it's very, very, very cold. Also, that liquid wants to go back to its natural state, which is actually a gas. So it builds up pressure inside this tank. Now you'll notice that this lid does not screw on. It just simply sits on top just like this, because if it's screwed on tight, eventually that pressure would build up so much that that tank would explode. Now every once in a while, and you might see it here during the show as well, every once in a while this will lift itself up all by itself to relieve the pressure that builds up inside of there. Now when that happens, we actually call it burping itself because it comes out of the top end, but if it came out of the bottom end, we'd have to call it something different. Now I'm going to get a little bit of nitrogen in a bowl. First off, I'm putting on a glove. I'm putting on a glove for the same reason why you would never stick your tongue to a metal pole in the middle of winter when it's extremely cold, because your tongue will stick to it. just like a Christmas story. My hand would stick to this bowl instantly if I didn't have my glove on. Now you'll also notice that I am not pumping this stuff out. I am not pumping it out. I'm just holding this down. And remember that pressure that I just said that builds up inside? That's actually what's pushing out the liquid into this bowl. Now, just like nitrogen gas, liquid nitrogen is odorless and it's colorless. It looks a lot like water, but you might be able to hear it's actually boiling inside this bowl. It's boiling because this temperature, although it may be kind of cool to us, is actually very hot to this liquid in here. All right, I think that's probably just about enough. Okay. And we're going to do a couple of demonstrations using this liquid nitrogen. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to blow up a balloon. So what's inside this balloon, everyone? Air, very good. More specifically, it's my air, all right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little survey here. By a show of hands, how many of you think if I put this balloon into this super cold liquid, it's going to pop? How many of you think it's going to pop? Okay. How many of you think it will not pop? Okay. There's a few of you that just don't care. You didn't raise your hand either time, but that's okay. Now, if you actually raised your hand, what you did was you formed a hypothesis. A hypothesis is just an educated guess of the outcome of an experiment. It doesn't mean you're going to be right the first time or the second time or the 100th time that you do the experiment. But remember, you can always go back and change the parameters of that experiment so you can get the test results that you're looking for. Now, for those of you who said it would not pop, you would have been correct. But what's happening to this balloon inside here, more specifically what's happening to the air that's inside the balloon, it's becoming frozen and it's turning into a liquid. There's three basic states of matter: solids, liquids, and gases. This is going from a gas to a liquid. You may be familiar with a liquid to a solid with water. We call it ice. All right, just a moment, I'm going to pull this balloon out. And if you look at the bottom of the balloon, you will notice my air as a liquid. You'll also notice that the balloon is much smaller in size. It's much smaller in size because liquids take up less volume than gases do in the same amount. Now, this isn't going to last very long, folks, because that liquid wants to go back to its natural state, which was actually a gas. So look real quick down at the bottom of the balloon. Can you see that stuff rolling around in there? Can you see it? Can you see it? No, sir, it's not spit, okay? It's actually liquid air. Can you see that down there on the bottom? You see it, sweetheart? All right. Now, slowly, you'll notice that this balloon is actually blowing itself back up. It will blow itself back up as that liquid vanishes. It will blow itself back up to the exact same size it was when I tied it off, once it becomes the same temperature that I tied it off at. Okay? Now let's see here. I think it's just about all gone. Okay. Would you like to have that balloon, sweetheart? It might feel a little cold right now, okay, but it's going to warm up and blow up just a little bit more. Now there's a lot of different uses for liquid nitrogen. Do we have any farmers out there? Any farmers? Okay. It's actually used in farming with the breeding of cows. It's also used in medical procedures. If you've ever had a skin tag or a wart taken off, more than likely it was actually done with liquid nitrogen. Also, it's used in food production. How many of you have ever heard of Dippin Dots? You heard of Dippin Dots? Yeah? Okay, Dippin Dots are actually made with liquid nitrogen. How many of you have ever heard of dragon's breath? Oh, a couple of you. Okay. Dragon's breath is actually a food that they often, you can find at fairs and festivals, much like this one. Now, I did search the grounds, and we don't have it here this year, but what it is, it's a fruit-flavored rice treat that they actually put in liquid nitrogen, and when you bite into it, it looks like you're breathing smoke like a dragon, all right? Now, I don't happen to have a fruit-flavored rice treat, but I have my favorite treat, which is Cheetos! Yes! Now, I'm going to show you what dragon's breath looks like. I'm going to pour a Cheeto in here. Come on out, Cheeto. All right. Now it doesn't take very long for a Cheeto to become very, very cold and frozen because liquid nitrogen is 321 degrees below zero. Now a frozen Cheeto will still look like a Cheeto, it will still taste like a Cheeto. However, it will become much, much colder, much harder, and much drier. You would think with liquid nitrogen it would make it wet, but it actually makes it a lot drier. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take this out, and this is what a frozen Cheeto looks like. And this is what a frozen Cheeto looks like when you eat it. And like I said, it becomes a lot drier. So it's going to take me just a second to wet my whistle again. Oh, but you know what? I just noticed while I was pouring those in there, I have 2 extra Cheetos in there. Is there anybody out there that would like to try a frozen Cheeto? Oh my goodness gracious, okay. Let's see, I see a young man right there. I just woke him up. Come on over this way. Is that your real name, Amina? Okay, come on over, you come over this way. Okay, stand right next to each other right here. Are you okay? Because if you're scared, you don't have to do it. You're good? Okay. Okay, let's see, what's your name, buddy? What is it? Preston? Preston, how old are you? 10 years old. Way cool. And what's your name here? Stand over here. What's your name? Mia. And Mia, how old are you? 9 years old. Way cool. Now, have either of you ever had Dippin Dots? Have you eaten Dippin Dots before? You know, sometimes they kind of like stick to your lips a little bit. All right, same thing with this, is that it may stick to your lips a little bit. All right, so you have to kind of like roll it around. Now, if you want to get a lot of smoke like I did, what you have to do is take like smaller bites. Don't shove the whole thing in your mouth, okay? All right? So take smaller bites and you're gonna crunch. Crunch, 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 crunch. The more you crunch, the more smoke you'll get, okay? Sound like a deal? Deal? Okay, so this is what liquid nitrogen looks like. Remember I said it looks like water? Okay. That white stuff you see, that's actually the water vapor in the air becoming frozen. All right, now everybody gets one. We're gonna do it on the count of 3 though, okay? So on the count of 3, Mia, very nice of you, let ladies go first, right? Okay, so on the count of 3, chomp, chomp, chomp. Not the whole thing, all right? Ready, 1, 2, 3. Go ahead, chomp. Chomp, 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 chomp. The other thing is that if you don't like it, you don't have to have it, okay? You can always spit it out if you don't like it. Chomp, 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 chomp. Oh yeah, you're smoking out your nose there. Chomp, 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 chomp. What you think? Does it still taste like a Cheeto? Yeah? Believe it or not, on a really hot day, they taste really, really good too, though. If you can imagine a hot day, right? All right, almost there.
Are you ready, baby?
Do you have my phone, baby?
So, what did you think? Was it good?